Hey, Mr. Pierce, come to the podium, please. Give me 1 second. Finding out about your scheduling order. Okay, let's get on the record, please, Ms. Rivers. This is 24 SC 003257, State versus Ricky Pierce. Mr. Pierce is in court. He was at an earlier proceeding. He and I had a long conversation about self-representation. I've entered an order allowing him to represent himself or honoring his request to represent himself. Today, we're going to cover 3 things, Mr. Pierce. One, we need to do your arraignment because we weren't sure if you were going to have a lawyer or be your own representative. I held off on arraignment, so we got to do arraignment. 2, I'm going to, on the record, get you the paper part of your discovery, which you can take with you. And then 3, we're going to talk about scheduling so that your case catches up with Mr. Baker's. So let's start with the arraignment.
Before we can get into that, it's a lot of issues that I had that I want to address before we get started with the arraignment. It's a lot of questions that I have that I need to be answered.
Okay. So why don't you give me an example of one of the questions, and then I'm actually going to decide whether we do arraignment first or your questions first.
Well, the law state that in Hagan versus Levine state that anytime a jurisdiction is challenged, that it must be proven before the case proceeds.
Okay.
And you're trying to proceed with this case without establishing jurisdiction first. That's the law, Your Honor.
Okay. It will work better as you and I are working together on this. If you've got legal concerns, you put them into a motion. So
I have filed a motion already, but Your Honor.
So I'm going to look and see what's in the docket.
It states that a court cannot proceed without establishing jurisdiction first, Your Honor. This is the law. I'm not saying nothing that's against the laws of Georgia, Your Honor, or the United States.
If she can't take down, if you talk about that, she's trying to take down everything you say.
Right. So pause. Just hold on, Mr. Pierce. I'm looking in the docket here, and I'm not seeing that you filed, and it just may not have made it yet, that you filed a motion challenging jurisdiction. But I'm happy to let you know right now, I'm real comfortable with the court's jurisdiction. That doesn't mean I won't.
Your Honor, it states that the proof of jurisdiction beyond a reasonable doubt is asserted. I'm the one asserting jurisdiction here, Your Honor. So that means I have to prove jurisdiction, but you got to give me the opportunity. If you don't give me the opportunity, you're violating my rights, Your Honor.
What's in your mouth?
Paper.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure everything.
But yeah, the law states that the asserter establishes jurisdiction is to prove jurisdiction, Your Honor. You're not letting me do that.
Okay.
You're not.
Okay. Well, I got you. So 1, we got to speak slowly, and 2, now I'm better understanding. You're saying you want to prove jurisdiction?
Yeah, I'm the asserter. Can I just read my question? Just go through it's not that long.
Okay. You said a whole bunch, but if it's not that long, how about I listen to you?
Your Honor, it's a lot of things I'm not understanding right now, and it's a lot of questions I need you to answer. So I can better understand what is going on up until this point, Your Honor. Like, hey, I changed the court's jurisdiction on March the 4th, 2025, and also filed a motion that's right here I have signed by the clerk saying that it's been filed in office. This is the motion right here that I have filed. I have here something, copies back and everything. And plus, the courts are still trying to proceed with my case when you guys lack subject matter jurisdiction. Plus, it states in Louisville versus Motley, if any tribunal find absolute proof of jurisdiction over a person or subject matter, the case must be dismissed.
Okay, slow down. I'm gonna let you keep reading. Just slow down so Ms. Rivers can get what you're saying.
And also, Your Honor, once jurisdiction is changed, it is to be proven not by the courts, but by the party attempting to assert jurisdiction, which will be me. Your Honor, the burden of proof lies with the asserter.
Okay, I'm now finding, it just wasn't listed as a motion, but I do see it's in the docket right here. Something that you filed, it's entitled pro se.
With a prohibition.
Right, got it. So I've got that. I will rule on that. I'm going to give the state a chance to respond. But you just filed, you filed it a couple weeks ago. And so I'll get input from the state on that. And then I do owe you a ruling on that. That does not prevent us from doing the arraignment.
Yeah, it does, Your Honor, because the law states that anytime a court jurisdiction is challenged, it must be proven before the case can proceed, Your Honor.
Okay.
So I challenged the jurisdiction last month, no, March the 4th. So that means that you have to set a court date for me to prove that you lack subject matter jurisdiction. That means I have bring my evidence, the state bring their evidence, show jurisdiction, and I'm not a statutory entity, so therefore statutory law don't apply to me, Your Honor.
Is the writ of replevy, is that your challenge to jurisdiction, or is there another
that's
one?
to go with my writ of prohibition.
Okay. Let me see if I got
my writ
that.
of prohibition, I filed 2 motions.
Okay, let me just take a look here.
I have a lot of questions that I need to be asked.
As long as you read slowly, we'll get through that. Okay, I think I've got your writ of prohibition also. And is that the challenge to jurisdiction?
Is that for fraudulent practices, misrepresentation, and lack of subject matter jurisdiction? Yes.
Okay, I see that. It says for fraud. Yep, they're all there. All right, so you filed them. I'm making a list here of things that I need to work on, and then I'll need to let the state respond. The way it works, if you file a motion, the state gets a chance to respond. Once I have both sides, then I can rule on that. Okay?
I mean, but you're still trying to proceed with the case, Your Honor, when we haven't established, you trying to get me to plead when this case is supposed to be at a standstill when I changed the jurisdiction March the 4th of last month. So that means you have to prove jurisdiction before I even make a plea on this, Your Honor.
I'm fine delaying the arraignment while we work through this. We don't have to do the arraignment today. I can hold on to the discovery and get you that another time. If you would prefer that I let the state respond and then I rule on it, we can handle it that way. Is that what you'd like?
I would like if we can just answer these questions that's had right in front of me today, Your Honor.
So then don't read the motion anymore and tell me what are your
I wasn't
questions.
reading the motion. I was reading what I have wrote down, my issues I have.
Okay, but ask questions instead of telling me about these cases.
Your Honor, I am on, let the record reflect that this is the defendant, this birth certificate, which is the person / persona, which is a legal fiction, also a statutory entity.
And I can't understand what.
Okay, I need you to slow down a little bit. So,
Let the
Ms.
record reflect, Your Honor, that this birth certificate is the defendant. I'm physically showing the birth certificate, everyone in the courtroom, that this is the defendant and I am the defense.
Okay.
Your Honor, I am only here in this courtroom by special appearance on the threat and duress to administer affairs of the Our Cap Trust, which is this birth certificate.
Okay.
As a sole beneficiary.
You told me you had questions. Tell me.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. I'm just introducing to the question, Your Honor.
I want you to go straight to the question now.
Your Honor, is this courtroom a court of records?
Okay, what's your next question?
You can answer it? Is this courtroom
I
a court
want
of
to know
records?
what your questions are.
I'm asking the question, Your Honor, is this courtroom a court of records?
So I thought you were going to share with me what the questions were. I didn't tell you if I was going to answer the questions. You said you had a bunch of questions.
So you're going to have me ask questions that you're not going to answer, Your Honor? That's not fair.
Well, don't ask the questions then. You don't have to ask the questions. You said you wanted to ask your questions, and I'm happy to hear them. If it's appropriate for me to answer them, I will.
So you don't think me asking is this court of records appropriate?
I didn't say it was appropriate or inappropriate. I just needed to know what your questions were. And if they're ones that I should answer right now, like what time is it? I can tell you, 3:51.
Yeah, and I'm asking something very simple, Your Honor. Is this courtroom a court of records?
All right, and what's your next question?
Your Honor, is your courtroom a court of records? I can't get
That
past
seems like
these
the first
questions.
question.
Need to be answered before, Your Honor. This question need to be answered for me to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay, tell me
I'm
what
trying to get an understanding. If you're not trying to help me get an understanding,
tell me what you mean by a court of records.
is this a court of records? It's simple. It's plain English.
I don't know what that means.
Is this courtroom a court of records?
I don't know what court of records means.
Do they record and proceed on everything that's happening in this courtroom? Do they record and document everything that's happening in this courtroom?
I don't know about everything, but as long as as long as you're speaking slowly and clearly, then things are being taken down. What's your next question?
Is this Fulton County courtroom or court of records? The same question. You're not answering, Your Honor. You're trying to dodge the question.
No, I'm not. I want to make sure I understand the question.
Is this Fulton County courtroom or court of records?
At times it is.
And are you sure this courtroom is a court of records?
If court of records means we take down what is said in court, then yes, sometimes this is a court of records.
For the record, Your Honor, I go by Ricky DeMond Pierce, all lowercase letters, nothing more, nothing less. Again, I'm here by special appearance on the threat and duress to again administer affairs of the All Cash Trust as the sole beneficiary and a shareholder of the trust, which again is this birth certificate. Okay, I'm also the executive of this estate, and I'm not the living person, not the person or persona, which is a statutory entity. I'm not the all caps legal official on my corporation. I'm the living man, and I have proof signed by your government agreeing to the same.
So what's your next question?
Your Honor, before we could proceed with this matter, I have a few questions I need for you to answer. First, Your Honor, are you practicing color law behind the bench?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Are you practicing color law behind the bench? Because Title 18 U.S.C. Section 242 clearly states that you are committing a felony if you are doing so. Title 18 states, whoever, under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, willfully subject any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by and protected by the constitutional laws of the United States shall be found under this title or in prison not more than 1 year or both. And if bodily injury results from acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include the use, attempted use, or threat of use of a dangerous weapon, explosive, or fire, shall be found under this title or in prison no more than 10 years or both. And if death results from the acts committed in violation of this section, and if such acts include kidnapping, attempted to kill, shall be found under this title or in prison for a term of years or for life or both, or may be sentenced to death. Now my question, let the record reflect that no legal or lawful matter can be seen without jurisdiction, Your Honor. We both know this.
Right. So we're going in circles. We're back.
Let me finish. Your Honor, my question to you is Your Honor, for the record, is this matter a criminal matter or a civil matter?
What do you think?
I just want to answer.
You're standing there in handcuffs. You're wearing a jail outfit.
Can you please answer the question for me, please?
That's my answer. I'm answering with a question. What do you think? Lowercase.
I don't know.
I
don't know, Your Honor. That's why I'm asking. I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
What's your next question?
Your Honor, for the record, is this matter a criminal matter or a civil matter?
Ask a question you don't know the answer to.
I don't know that. I'm telling you, how you gonna tell me what I know, Your Honor?
Well, if it were a civil matter, would you be having to use the restroom in front of everyone else?
Oh, no, that's why I'm asking you, Your Honor. I'm coming to you as fast as I know how, Your Honor, and as humble as I know how. I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question.
Okay. What's your next question?
Your Honor, for the record, is this matter a criminal matter or a civil matter?
Okay, that would be your next question. That's one you already asked.
Why we can't pass this question, Your Honor, because I lack knowledge to understand what is going on. And I'm telling you this, and it's my authority to let the court know when I don't understand something.
A fair point. I want you to let me know when you don't understand. We already covered that when we had our Feretta hearing. We talked about what kind of case it is and the penalties you face.
I said, is this a criminal matter or a civil matter?
How much more time do you need? Because you got about 3 minutes before I'm going to bring someone out here that we can move the case along.
Your Honor, I just want you to answer my questions because I lack knowledge to understand what's going on. I'm just trying to keep caught up to date to understand what is going on.
Okay.
There's no harm in that, Your Honor.
What's your next question?
It's the same question. Before I can get to the next question, I have to answer this question.
Go to the next
ask a question. You just said you're not gonna answer.
Your Honor, for the record, is this matter a criminal matter or a civil matter, Your Honor?
All right, we're done. I will bring you back once the state has responded to your motions. And I will likely be entering an order that lets you know my thoughts about jurisdiction. Once I've done that, you can choose to participate in an arraignment, but you do need to understand that in a criminal case, that's a clue.
So this is all a criminal matter? Then why you couldn't answer the first time, Your Honor?
Why are you asking in the first
Because I'm
time?
trying to get, I just told you I'm trying to get an understanding.
So let me finish. So you understand that in a criminal
So
case,
this is a criminal matter, for the record.
such as yours, if you choose not to
Objection, Your Honor.
participate, if you choose not to
Is this a
participate,
criminal matter or a civil matter, Your
you
Honor?
need to stop interrupting, okay?
I'm trying to understand something. It's my right to, if I don't understand something, to bring it to your attention, Your Honor. That's the law.
Well, it's not the law, it's how you're choosing to proceed. If you decide not to participate in arraignment, I'm authorized by law to enter a plea of not guilty. And that's what I'll do. So when I see you again, we're going to try again with
So
the
you're
arraignment.
gonna violate the laws to when it states that a case cannot proceed without establishing jurisdiction first. So you're just gonna ignore that.
Nope, I'm going to rule on your motion. And after I've done that, then I'll bring you back for arraignment. And you can choose to participate in it or not. I'm just letting you know in advance so you're not disappointed.
I'm not gonna participate in it until you establish jurisdiction over me first. Your Honor. That's the first thing first. We're not
Right.
gonna skip the process. This called due process of law for a reason, Your Honor.
It is, and that's why we're not
And in
doing it.
Hagan versus Levine, it states that anytime a jurisdiction is challenged, it's to be proven before the case can proceed. That is the law. That is not nothing that I made up, Your Honor.
Okay, you may be misapplying it, but I'm not disagreeing.
I'm not this point. I done read it 1,000 times, Your Honor.
Okay, well then you know it. So that's why we're not doing the arraignment today. I'll take care of establishing jurisdiction. And once I've done that, I'm comfortable that I've established jurisdiction, we'll bring you back for an arraignment. You can participate or not, but we'll have cleared that hurdle that you,
If you haven't, I'm not gonna participate. If you can't establish jurisdiction over my case first, why would I participate?
you don't need to participate. I'll bring you out. You can say no, thank you. We take you back there. We bring the jury
I
in.
mean, Your Honor, I have issues and it's,
You do,
yeah,
you do.
yeah, and we both do, Your Honor.
And my responses, do I address them to, as Mr. Pierce has recognized to start the day as lowercase r, P, the rest of his name, because he signs all of his motions with uppercase R, uppercase P, uppercase.
No, I don't. I do uppercase or lowercase everything else. Dash. I don't have an art sentence. I have an autograph.
It's just different. Out of respect, I just was curious since it's different than what he.
Let me show you.
I got it right here.
Right, no, I'm looking at it. It's capital R, capital
Lowercase.
B.
No.
Oh, yes. But that's all right.
Is that all caps?
No, it's not all caps, but you capitalize each
Yeah,
word.
This is all cap. Is this your handwriting?
What?
See, that's all caps.
Oh, that's awkward. All right.
Is that in all caps?
So how about this, Mr. Pierce? I'm going to agree that you have written it in different ways, and I'm really not going to get hung up on
I
that.
am not all, like I got the paperwork right here signed by the government saying I'm not a part of y'all, and it's on file with the office. It's filed in office. My paper right here shows that I'm not the all caps legal official signed by y'all government.
Good.
Signed by y'all government saying I'm not the all caps.
I will not
I'm
use
not a
all caps.
corporation.
I will not use all
Signed by
caps.
you guys government.
You guys, okay.
Because I'm a national, not a citizen. Y'all are citizens. I'm not.
I remember you establishing that before. We don't need to cover that again.
It was
Anything else?
very much that I present it at every court because it's for the record. Now it's my job to put it on the record, Your Honor.
Okay, it's back on the record. We're incorporating in this hearing what you put on the record at the last hearing, and we'll do that every time. Anything else you want to cover? Because I'm
Yes, I
happy to
have.
give you this discovery, but you can't have it.
I don't want to
until we
proceed
do arraignment.
until I get my question answered, Your Honor.
All right, why don't you do this? If you want to put them in writing, you could file them and I can get you those answers. But we're wasting not your time or mine, an important conversation, but there are a lot of other people here who are stuck while you ask questions like, is this a criminal matter or a civil matter? So,
Right, because I don't understand.
okay.
And I just want to ask you where is the problem just answering the question, Your Honor? Because I let the knowledge know.
Okay. I feel your lack of knowledge, and I'll bring you back, after, I've responded to the motions you filed. That's the way we're going to interact here. If there's something you want an answer for or ruling on, you need to file it. And you know how to do it. You did it well. Okay? I'll keep your discovery warm and dry in my office.
Your Honor, so would you just continue this court date or something?
Yeah, we can't do the arraignment today. You've helped me understand why. You want me to
Because you can't
establish.
proceed with my case until you establish jurisdiction over my case, Your Honor.
That's right.
That's the law.
It is the law.
So what's the problem with me asking the question to better understand what's going on?
Well, I don't even have jurisdiction yet. Let me establish that, then I'll be in a position to have a conversation with you.
And we're not talking about statutory jurisdiction. We're talking about the Constitution jurisdiction.
We're talking about whatever jurisdiction I find. Okay? I'll see you soon.
Bye, Judge.
That went different.